Obrigado a todos e primeiro que nada uma desculpa por haver chegado tarde hoje. Meu voo ficou cancelado ontem em Des Moines e uma das vantagens e desvantagens de morar em uma cidade muito pequena como Des Moines. Eu vou... a apresentação é em inglês, então eu acho que vou fazer o que vocês me disserem. Eu faço em inglês e vocês podem fazer perguntas em português e eu falo portunhol, na realidade, mas eu acho que anda bem. Tá bom, então a ideia dessa pequena apresentação é dar um pouco de contexto de que é o Plan Science Symposia Series e quais são os objetivos que nós temos. Então, vou mudar agora para inglês, porque senão vou ficar falando nesse portunhol raro. Primeiro que nada, quero contar, porque eu acho que vocês se estarão preocupando. Oh, sorry. First of all, I'm sorry, I can go back and forth. I want to explain a little bit what Corteva is, and I am not going to get into marketing and in a lot of details about this, but until last September, or a little bit over a year ago, I was really officially working for Pioneer. And last September, Dow and DuPont, these large transnational corporations, merged and formed what we call Dow DuPont, right? Very original combination of name. And so, one of the groups within these two organizations is the agriculture division of this large organization that earlier this year became named as Corteva AgriScience. So no more details about that. You can actually see the material online, and actually, if you are really interested about it, you can come and ask me later, and I can explain you a little bit further about what we are. And but one of the activities that has perdured during this transition is the Plant Sciences Symposia series. And the Plant Sciences Symposia series is a series that started in 2008 at the University of Minnesota. And initially it was an event exactly like this, organized by students. Students, ran all the logistics, all the objectives, and we were essentially funding it and supporting it and providing advice in its execution. Until in 2011, we decided that, this sounded like a very good idea, so why don't we try somewhere else? And we tried it in Wisconsin, and Natalia was the sponsor at that time in Wisconsin, and we went to Wisconsin. It worked very well, so we kept growing and growing. Cornell, Davis, Lincoln, Oilheim, Visosa, etc., until now that we are officially 51 events or 51 locations around the world that are funded and members of this series. The last one to be incorporated this year is the Universidad Católica in Chile. So we are expanding in Latin America finally further, and next year we will expand also in Africa and probably in more places in Asia too. So as you see, we are trying to cover the world. There are a lot of empty spaces there. Obviously North America, because of geographical reasons and history, is easier for us to go, but to be sincere, Brazil has been an important component of our growth and our connections during the year. So what are the objectives? The objectives of the series are mainly, I would say, educational objectives, right? So they are to empower future scientists through the support and enhancement of graduate education and networking, right? To build student leadership, organizational management skills, and to expose students to a wide range of career opportunities in agriculture and plant sciences. And we could talk more about why that, but essentially, the world is broad, there are many opportunities out there. We want you to make as many connections as possible and to think about your careers in a broad way into the future. And another thing I think it's also important to say is a lot of the employment in the future of future scientists will fall outside the traditional academic environment. So I think that one of the things that we have been trying to do, and I think that in a way, I mean, we have accompanied the trend on the community is to open up to other opportunities outside the more traditional academic opportunities for scientists, and to build a community that would actually work across sectors effectively, international, government, academic, private sector, etc., all working together as colleagues. So the work this works is, we sponsor the event, and we are not the only sponsors of the event, and the organizers might have introduced you at the beginning who are the other sponsors of this event, but we are probably one of the main sponsors in most of the cases. But then we let the students organize the event their own way and however they want. And so because, the idea is to give opportunity to creativity, to make your own mistakes and to learn from them, and to present a very good product at the end, which is what we all do in real life, right? I mean, it's just an exercise of that at a different dimension. So again, the students have full control on the event planning and organization, the format, the purpose, the sponsorship and budgeting, timing, topics, etc. All is done by students, and we really appreciate that very much. I mean, I was talking with Natalia about this, her experience in Madison, and Natalia has been a speaker in many of these events around the world, but it is something that can be replicated everywhere where there are talented grad students or students in general that want to actually take the lead and actually do something for their own education. And this is a recent cloud of the topics that have been included in the main talks around in the history of the series. We have had at this point more than 130 events. So I think that we are surpassing 500 talks at this point in the series. And so we actually take the keywords of the presentations and we try to build a cloud to give an idea of which are the major topics. And at the beginning it was breeding was like the big member there, I mean, one of the things that we have been succeeding is on diversifying this and opening it to a more diverse front of ideas and topics and so on. So I think this is a very good trend. It actually opens things to broader topics and to connect across areas in this. I think another thing that I think is very, very important for us is this idea of actually creating a global forum, right? I mean, one thing that, we really don't like is these things about building walls and separating people and, and actually not helping the connection between people. So we really like the idea of actually building bridges and opening borders and actually getting people traveling around the world and sharing ideas and working together. And this is, I think, something that we are very proud of. I mean, essentially, it's not just a regional event. There is a lot of intercontinental connection here in this series, and we are going to try to keep growing and making this even broader in the future. Another thing that is a very important thing is this idea about where people are going to be working in the future, right? I mean, and we want to get sure that the event gives opportunity to expose people to different career opportunities down the road. And so, although most of these talks so far has come from academia, there are a lot more. There is an important percentage of talks that have come from other organizations. Of course, Pioneer has contributed a lot. But it's not only Pioneer, right? I mean, you know, other members of the private sector have contributed, and this is something that we really want to encourage students coming on in the future to actually be very open and don't be afraid of inviting to speakers that are from our competitors, because this is not about competition in that sense. It is about science and about bringing and opening opportunities for people from, you know, across the different sectors. So, you know, I mean, so that's why we highlight that, you know, there are other private sector groups, but we would like that sector to actually even grow in the future too. So we encourage that. Don't be afraid in the future to actually do so. And last, you know, we have different ways of actually do social media for communication. We have a web page that is a repository of all the events. I mean, it's still called Pioneer, the web page, because we haven't been able to, you know, to officially change it fully. But the series is officially named now only Plant Sciences Important Series, because it is the Plant Sciences Important Series, right? But we are changing that web page to reflect our new identity, and but it is a very simple web page. We only put there the link to your own events, because in a way this is a federation of events. You can actually name your event the way you want. You can actually organize yourself the way you want. You can select your authorities the way you want. We just want you to be part of this series and actually, you know, collaborate and contribute to the growth of the series and to the major principles in the series too. And we also have a Facebook page that is more or less working. I wouldn't say that it's working that well. It's all like Facebook, right? I mean, I think it's a little bit past its time, probably at this point. But we also are trying to encourage people to become members of LinkedIn, you know, because LinkedIn is a way to actually get more information and more really scientific based or academic based or professional based, better said, information about connections. And we haven't included that here, but we are actually actively promoting the series and trying to build connections in LinkedIn too. And so I think that with that, I am done, and I thank you very much again. And obrigado. E mais uma vez, o ano que vem, não? Tudo bem. Obrigado.